So, can we get back to something that we didn't really cover because it was part of the larger exchange between K Michelle and Portia? So, I am trying to figure out this particular line right here from K Michelle where she tags Portia during their heated exchange. This is a continuation of Portia saying, "You were two doors down from me tweeting when you could have been talking directly to me versus tweeting online about how you felt. Come and tell me to my face. That's how we do it on Real Housewives of Atlanta." I do agree with that. Then K Michelle chimes in and says this: "No different than you being two doors down from me, effing on my ex, sitting in my face like you a girl's girl while telling him my business. Dang bimbo." So then Portia says, "Ooh, Twitter fingers shaking the table," which is, of course, K Michelle's infamous line that she used with Carly Red in their first on-screen battle, one of their first on-screen battles back in the day. So then Portia says hashtag activated, laughing emoji, and tags K Michelle because K Michelle has said she is ready to get activated. So this is what I want to know because I think are we overlooking something here? I stated yesterday that I felt as though whomever told K Michelle that the people were plotting against her was a credible source enough for her to believe it. Now, I'm not saying that it is true. I am saying that whoever told her seems credible enough that she believes that person. So, who could that have been? A lot of y'all in the chat said Shamia. K Michelle said it wasn't Shamia. Shamia said it wasn't Shamia. Some of y'all have said Kelly. Some of y'all have said production. Now, what I want to know is though, and I could be, let me know if I'm reaching here, because similar to Portia's story about the dude that Kelly allegedly slept with, calling up whomever Portia was standing in the room with right at that moment to let dude know that he was just banging around with Kelly whilst he's married. He's calling his friend to tell his friend at the same dang time that the man is with Portia. Well, doggone it. Ain't that coinky dink? But in a similar sense, I'm wondering, is this what we have here as well? Who is the ex that Portia was chunking on? Did the ex come back and then tell K Michelle what Portia and he had talked about? And was Portia, this is alleged. I mean, I don't know if this to be true. I'm just asking, if is this the situation that has K Michelle so shook on Real Housewives of Atlanta that she cannot explain? Is this it? Who is the ex? Who is it? Okay. Now, somebody in the comments had positioned that K Michelle was speaking about an ex. They are surmising that it could be R. Kelly, but that was in the 90s. So I don't think that this is the case for that situation. I just don't see that being it. I don't see this having any bearing on what is happening right now. Because the only way that I could see her being upset, because she's now married, about the ex situation, and how recent was this ex? Who is the ex? But did the ex, K Michelle, you got to let us know, did the ex tell you? Well, clearly the ex did. Clearly it got back to K Michelle. Whatever Portia was telling the ex then came back and then told K Michelle. So can we reasonably assume that this is why K Michelle is so upset, so bothered, and does not really want to get into the particulars about who said it and how she found out? Y'all let me know. Did we solve the case or not? And I guess we'll have to wait and see. Honestly, we may never find out. But I do think, K Michelle, you got to tell us something. You got to let us know something, because otherwise it remains a mystery. And when we can't figure something out, then people are going to make assumptions about you, which I'm sure you might be used to because you've been in the spotlight for this long. But this is just what I want to know. Somebody in the chat, am I making any sense? Y'all let me know in the chat, because I really am trying to figure this out. We got two things to talk about with Kelly. So Portia was on the Sherry Shepherd show yesterday, and she talked about, of course, the Real Housewives of Atlanta. She actually, I think that this interview was pre-taped. but I could be mistaken. But she does talk about how she feels like Real Housewives of Atlanta has gotten some heavy hitters with K Michelle, Pinky, Angela, and she really does give K Michelle and Pinky their props. She really does. But Kelly is someone who is not necessarily on Portia's good list right now. And it could be because of what we see in some of the previews coming up. But for right now, what we know is that Portia feels like some of the ladies are just not fulfilled in life. Okay. And that Kelly is reverting to something that happened over 4 years ago, i.e., the Simon situation. As when she first came in, she asked Portia, why you take that lady husband? Portia says that people come onto the show and do that when they have nothing else going on. This show is about following the lives of glamorous women who have a lot going on. And when you don't, it's an automatic thing that people do, that they come for someone else who has something going on, which that does happen. Then Portia says, who handed her a peach anyway? She tried to come in hot and I just cooled her down. No, listen, not who handed her the peach anyway. Is that on par with saying, I don't know. Y'all let me know what y'all thoughts are about that in the comment section down below. She quickly pivoted after she said that, but it's given, why is she here, Ike? It's giving when Drew's persons tweeted that they didn't miss Kelly in the episode. It's giving that type of energy. So I don't think that this beef is going to cool down at all as we move throughout the season. But let me say something here. Portia never misses. Okay? She never misses when it comes to a confessional. But or a look in general. But y'all, there is a look that has the people talking right now coming up in the next couple of episodes that the people, it's trending actually. This look is trending. If you want to see today's news, trending Kelly Farrell's plain white t-shirt. It's trending someplace. The people are in an uproar about this particular look. One post says 20 years, over 2,000 episodes, more than 100 housewives, and this confessional look from Kelly on Real Housewives of Atlanta is somehow the worst of all time. Go on, girl, give us nothing. So I have a slightly different opinion about this, and I'm going to go ahead and give it to you now. I personally am not mad at this look. I would prefer it if the sleeves on the shirt were a bit more fitted. I know, this is my biggest complaint, right? This is my biggest complaint. It's the sleeves. I wish they were, even my t-shirts. I want my t-shirts to fit my arms. I mean, I don't work out for nothing. I want them to fit my arms nice and tight, okay? Now, it is a Tom Ford t-shirt, okay? So there is that. It is very much giving plain. It's very much giving casual, but they let it go. Okay, so let me give it to y'all like this. For those who don't know how confessionals work. Generally speaking, unless the housewife has tenure, I would say. From what I understand and from what I know to be true, when you sit down in the confessional chair or when you pull up and they're going to go through your outfit. They're going to see what outfits you have. Now, some housewives tenured can probably get away with, this is what I got and this is what I'm gonna wear. Those who are newer don't necessarily have that level of clout. And so there are decisions that need to be made from above. It is not just that the woman shows up or the man shows up and it is like, okay, sit down, we'll just work with what you got. No, it is a decision that is approved from usually the top down. That could go from any place from network executives to just production, depending on whatever the show is. I can speak for myself. When I did it, I had to get approval for the two confessional looks that I had, and it was we couldn't move on filming until they were approved from the top down. So I say all this to say that this look was approved. All right, that's number one. Number two, I have been saying that I felt like Kelly just needed to do a little less. I just meant dress it down a little bit. Like, we don't need the feather boas and because I feel like a lot of it covers her natural beauty. This look does showcase a bit more of a natural side. I don't know that it was what I was asking for per se, but it's definitely what we got. Now, do I mind it? It's all going to depend. Does she serve it in the interviews? What's happening in the interviews? Is she extra spicy? What will we get out of it? Because if you're going to show up in a white tee, I'm going to need you to have all the tea, and I'm going to need you to have all the spice and sass in the world for this confessional look. Okay? All right. And we're talking about it because listen, it's trending. All right? It's trending. So something else that's likely going to be trending tomorrow. Shout out to first of all, shout out to the Neighborhood Talk with T from the Sherry Shepherd Show with Portia. Also to the Bravo Shade Room for picking up the pieces of that online beef with K Michelle and with Portia. And then also to Kelly Farrell's own Instagram that I did come across. Now, shout out to No Chaser _ TV for this story right here. Mendeecees threatens to expose Yandy in explosive conversation. I'm gonna let you know this conversation that is going to air tonight. The exposing is already happening. Okay, let me give you guys the play on what happens. For those of you guys who don't want to be spoiled, here I'm gonna spoil you anyway. They are sitting down and they're basically, I think they're talking about maybe custody or I don't know. They're talking about who's going to, they're trying to make some decisions. And it seems amicable at first. And then right as they are about to leave, Mendeecees asks, so you going back to New York? So what we won't realize until later, but Yandy does realize in the moment is that he was throwing a jab at her. That jab being that she got a thing in New York. I got a thing going on. There is a thing, apparently, a man, somebody that she kicks it with on the regular whenever she goes to New York. That's where her New York hottie at. Her New York bay at. That is what he is claiming here. Not only that, but as she gets up and she's like, I'm not doing this with you right now. You can hear him yelling like to production and then to her, like, if we're gonna tell it, let's tell it all. Let's do it all on TV. Let's go. Let's talk about all these people that you've been with. You've been single this whole marriage. You've been single this entire time. And then there's elements of the conversation where it sounds like, well, she's like, she don't really want the people to know all their business. And he's like, no, let's tell it. So as I'm watching this scene play out, and I'm thinking, dang, I mean, he is mad, mad. Now, it could be in perhaps because he had been the one who had taken most of the hits in recent years with regards to whatever is going on with their marriage. And then as of the past 2 years, she has been taking some hits with regards to that as well. But my thing is, why even take all these hits when, if according to you, Mendeecees, y'all have not even really been together the entire marriage? We know that the marriage is not really the marriage. It is literally just the two of you guys having ceremonies on television and then pretending to be together. If this is what I'm getting from this altercation right here, this argument makes it feel to me as though it has all been one big sham, a flim flam, okay? A sham. And for what though? For what? To appear on reality TV? Because here's the thing. I don't recall anyone asking for this. Okay. And I understand Yandy stood by him while he did his time. And maybe he felt some level of, maybe he felt like he owed her more because she held him down in that way. But also the marriage never happened. I think maybe to also protect her and her assets. So at the end of the day, when he gets out, why even choose to pretend to continue to be together if you really don't want to be together? It would be different if they wanted to be together and they didn't mind what each other did. That to me would be much more interesting to watch because that would be feel more real. But now when we look back at these situations, we wonder why would y'all even why even stay together if you really don't want to be together and you guys know that you don't want to be together and you guys know about what's going on with each other? Why show up on camera as anything else? That's all I want to know. Because I mean, I don't think honestly, at the end of the day, we don't really care one way or another. I would just rather the two of y'all be happy, and if that means go your separate ways, and you never wanted to be together, then just don't be together. Or if you did want to be together and you guys had situations that you guys were both okay with, or whatever the case may be, that's cool too. Then I feel like y'all could have just said that a long time ago. And again, if that's a journey that the show wanted to follow, and maybe it was a risk of not wanting to lose out on being on the show because of the premise, love and hip hop, right? But I mean, look at Stevie J. Not saying that's the best example, but it worked out for all parties for the most part. I mean, especially for Jocelyn. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see what happens when the show airs and how this whole situation plays out and where it goes. I mean, obviously, it's a nothing burger at this point. The show's ending. All right, the show's ending, and it's just it's so interesting that as it comes to an end, one of the mainstay couples who have been a through line through for much of the show's existence has pretty much what seems like a relationship that is also disintegrating in the same way that the show is. It's odd. Okay. Anyway, those are the stories that we had to talk to y'all about today. So we'll watch Love and Hip Hop tonight so we can actually talk about it tomorrow. And we'll see what happens with this whole situation. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below, and I will catch you in the next video.